Let's start. Fear, however, is predictable and reinforcing. What do I mean with this? Think about if a ruler presents a law that any person that steals, their hands will be cut. Isn't that predictable? And then not only that you embrace this law, but you show it to the public. You show everyone the severity of breaking the law. Wouldn't this cause fear? Yes, it would. And you would think 5 times before you want to become a thief, because not only the tyrannical leader has put a severe law that punishes theft, but now you're overthinking about not committing a crime that will put you in that situation, but also the anxiety fact that if you still do it and you get caught, you know the consequences of your choices. So this is interesting. It's a mind game. It's a psychological game that Machiavelli writes on this book. Because if we understand the psychological mind game that Machiavelli understands, is that it's easier to control through perceived punishment than through genuine affection. And I would say that again, it is easier to control through fear than through love. Because love is all about being free and not setting boundaries that will enchain you. It's a decision. It's a relationship. It's something that you give freely and don't expect anything in return. Fear doesn't work that. Fear is completely different. Fear will chain you down. Fear will hold you. It will make you freeze or flight and fight. But if you fight, you know the consequences. So you are left with flight and freeze. So for the Machiavellian leader, fear offers far greater psychological security. It's just simple. They just don't trust humanity. And trust is a big factor. If you can't trust, why will you gamble? That's literally what Machiavelli believed. Don't gamble your destiny. Play it safe. Do whatever you have to do to be in power and never stop. Because once you stop and you're not the top dog, you're not the top leader, you're not the one absolutely in charge, they will come get you. And it's more accessible to get you. But also, if you are on the very top, that means everyone else is observing you. Everyone else wants what you have. And if they think Machiavellically, they will do the same thing that you did to acquire that power. So I want to talk about the second point. The second nature of Machiavellian leadership, belief, is deeply narcissistic. And clinically, you can see this. Think about the traits. A narcissist believes they're special. They shouldn't be challenged. They feel superior than anyone else. And so many other traits. But one of the biggest is the inflation of their ego. Machiavellian behavior goes into this idea of grandiosity, the unshakable belief that they're uniquely qualified to rule, not to serve, and that the rules of common morality does not apply to them. Again, let's go back to understanding this. Machiavelli did not believe in a god, did not believe in anyone above him. He didn't have to answer to any sort of moral rules that were spiritual or soul. Machiavelli was all flesh, the flesh and today, and the needs of survival and the needs of power. And also because of this is why they justify this animal instinct, this primitive instinct of desire, that their needs supersede all human and ethical costs. And if we want to talk more of our narcissist behavior and this Machiavellian leadership style, is the hypocrisy, which is a persona. And he explicitly explains that the prince must appear merciful, religious, and honest, believable, while being prepared to act exactly the opposite. Can you trust a face that smiles but stabs you in the back? Will you be able to tell the difference? Will you be able to catch them in the act? So Machiavelli understood very well the importance of portraying to be a good man, to be a just leader. So Machiavelli encourages everyone to perfectly craft a public mask so you can use it to hide a ruthless, amoral shadow self. This demands a state of chronic cognitive dissonance where integrity is replaced by performance. Remember, the prince is all about efficiency. And then another trait of Machiavellian behavior is the lack of empathy. You must understand that everyone is replaceable for Machiavelli, because they are driven by the preservation of power. And that's all that matters. They will view other subordinate citizens similar to chess pieces, not human beings. We must ask ourselves if everything they see is removable and they are the only chess piece that matters. Can we ask ourselves, what did they think about themselves? And just analyzing this concept, it's almost that they believed they were a necessary bad. They were a deity. They were the solution to themselves. In a corrupt heart like these leaders, it displays the negative human instincts, what the nature of power really does to us, and also what will we do to obtain power. But more importantly, I asked myself this. I'm pretty sure Machiavelli was able to sleep with a clean conscience. And if he was able to sleep with a clean conscience, that means that he loved being evil. And those that he knew did the same. They did not have nightmares. They did not wake up in the middle of the night thinking of what they did. Because again, for them, their main goal was to obtain the ultimate price of power. I will give you a story about what this psychopathic and narcissist behavior looks like. Machiavelli talks about a ruler, a ruthless ruler that invades a land, and he notices that there are rebels and there's people stealing and misbehaving. So he tells his second in command, I want to send you there. Now, you have all my authority and power to do as you please. If you need to be harsh and kill the citizens that are doing all these violent acts and acts of rebellion against me, you have the authority to kill them, and also do it publicly. Like I said, it's better to be feared than loved. So he gives his blessings to his second in command and tells him to lead and rule under his name, ruthless. And so his second in command goes and does exactly what he is told. He rules ruthlessly, killing people, public executions. And obviously, one of the things that Machiavelli knew very well was, and he wasn't a fool about this, he was conscious that as a prince or ruler, you'd never want to be hated. Oh, yes. He understood how to play the tyrannic game very well. And this is where the biggest hypocrisy act comes in. The ruler now noticing that the people are transforming that fear instead of into flight and freeze, they're going to go into the fight mode because now they had enough. What can a citizen lose if they're already being beaten and killed on the streets and humiliated, undignified? They have nothing to lose. So they are going to rebel at some point. And the prince tells us this. Machiavelli warns us, don't not be hated. Don't go to that point of being hated because they will come after you. This is how rebellions are created, and for that purpose, to fight the evil ruler. So what does this ruler do? He goes into the city he sent his second in command. He tells them, he asks the public, what do you think about my second in command? And everyone agrees that he's ruthless, he's evil. He's been purging them and executing them and humiliating them. And the ruler notices this. He's noticing the fear being transformed into anger, which is a great motivation to fight at all costs. So what does the ruler do the next day? He orders for his second in command to be killed publicly in the most humiliated fashion in front of everyone. Now, by doing this, think about the hypocrisy mask. What will people think of him now as a ruler? He steps in after the public execution and he is seen as a savior. He is seen as somebody that has restored dignity and peace to the public. But yet they do not know the unnoble acts. They are unaware that he placed the red carpet for him to come in as a hero, although he planned his second in command to do all the dirty work for him to be loved at some point. Because love is nothing, it's not like he doesn't want to be loved, but he also gets the respect. But he already input the fear. Now he has everyone's good attention. He has everyone trust. And now he can rule without having the people against him. Machiavelli reveals such a dark side of humanity for those in the political spectrum. And as you can see, these Machiavellian leaders will do anything to stay in power because they see power not just as an asset, but as an extension of their self-worth. And losing power is psychologically equivalent to losing their identity. So let's think about when Machiavelli is writing The Prince, did he lose his identity because he wasn't anymore with the elites playing the political power? But think about this. If your self-worth is only dictated by power and the loss of power and desires and vanities, things that are physically obtainable without any moral implications or a moral judge, an ethical judgment? Will you even think that you are evil? Will you be able to self-reflect about the actions you have taken? And do they deserve repercussion? And the answer is no, for those that have these Machiavellian behaviors. So do we see this today? And are we able to see these behaviors in our place of work, in our schools, in our house, in ourselves? There's definitely modern Machiavellism today. And when we talk about this, is about the dark triad of personality traits, such as narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellism. Now, you can either take The Prince as a book to guide yourself into being a tyrant, or you can use the book to check if somebody is displaying these behaviors. And if you see them, what will you do? Because you don't want to be working with somebody or under somebody like Machiavelli. Because if you read through The Prince, there's all this calculated manipulation, exploitation, and the cynical disregard for morality. Think about this. If you work, let's say, for 5-10 years, and you still have the same position, even though you have put your efforts and you work hard and you have learned so much that you have become an expert in your department, and you lead your people with honesty, and you display nobility, and you display integrity, but yet you haven't been promoted. This happens very often in our world today. There's always an excuse. And we can see this running through our modern industries, right? And our leaders today. You got to ask yourself, why hasn't this person that is a good servant to me not been promoted, not advancing in their career? And the answer is very simple. If you're the one looking up and you're seeing that you're not moving forward, please take the book The Prince and see if you can find some Machiavellian behaviors with those above you, because I'm pretty sure you will find them. And remember, there's the hypocrisy mask. Don't let yourself be fooled by the smiles. Because Machiavelli said it himself, those that praise you, those that bubble you up, are the ones that betrayed you.